Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I am here with the beautiful Angeline Constantinou. She is amazing. Let's say that. I'll start off with that. She does a lot, and I'm so happy that she's connected with me. She helps women regain their power, step into their confidence, and attract this beautiful, wealthy, healthy lifestyle, which I'm all about that. So why not? She's also the host of Let's Break the Silence podcast. Welcome, Angeline. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh, thank you. It's so great to be here with you. And you know what? This is the power of the internet that you and I connected. I think you and I connected last year.
I think so. Yeah. It's been a while since we've been connected, but this is the first time we're actually having like a one-on-one. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited to see where this relationship blossoms as well.
Yes, absolutely. Same here. Same here.
So let's start talking about what you do, how you help women gain confidence, step into their powers. Tell us a little bit about you, your story, and how you became this wonderful, amazing woman that you are today.
Oh, thank you so much. So thank you so much for joining us today. So, all right. So I've been in the online space for quite a long time, but I just want to share a brief story with you on how, my journey led to my podcast. So 11 years ago, I was in a very bad place. I was struggling financially. I was the victim of domestic violence, and I went through a lot. I was married to, everyone thought that we had the perfect marriage, but it didn't turn out that way. He physically abused me, emotionally abused me. He denied me access to monies, and we had worked together in New York City. So my background is advertising and sales and direct sales. So I was working in my ex-husband's business selling advertising, and everyone thought that we had a really great life, right? Working in the New York City five bureaus, making six-figure income, but that didn't happen. It didn't pan out, and for a couple of reasons. What happened was, he retired, and I decided to go out and work in corporate America to make a name for myself at the time. So I made a good name for myself, but he wasn't supportive. And then after that, abuse happened. He threw me against the wall and with a broken nose. And 3 days, I was in the emergency room. I was in the emergency room bleeding, and I thought I wasn't going to make it. But by the grace of God, God was looking out for me. And I had reconstructive nose surgery 3 days later. Okay. But guess what? I didn't end the marriage right away. And I think that is like common for especially women who are in some sort of domestic violence situation. They're afraid, and I was afraid. So it went on for another 10 years until finally I reached my breaking point. I woke up. I remember I was in the house at the time where I used to live. And I woke up one morning and I said, I'm going to pay my lawyer $5,000, a retainer fee, and file for divorce. And I'm really happy I did, because, I was denied access to monies. He would write out balance transfer checks against my account, against credit cards to buy mutual funds. So I found myself in about $20,000, $30,000 in debt, which is, yeah. So I was living like a gypsy from May of 2010 to May of 2011. So make a long story short, that's when breakthroughs happen. I knew that I could stand up on my own 2 feet. And then I started getting involved in the online space because I was looking for something. I was looking, for mentors. I was looking for a leader. So I had joined a health and fitness company, a network marketing company, which did change my life at the time. It actually saved me. I saved myself, but I surrounded myself with leaders. I surrounded myself with people who were on a higher level. So I really worked on myself, worked with a mentor, and, did a lot of personal development. Then after the divorce was final and I was paid off. Then I flew to Los Angeles a month later for a convention, and that was truly life-changing. So I went from a place of, in a really, really dark place, to, to prosperity and to, abundance. And so one of the things that I share with, with my clients is you have to work on your mindset. Your mindset is huge. If you do not have the right mindset, chances are you're not going to make it. But that's something that I highly, recommend, is to get yourself a mentor, or just get involved in a company that's going to change your life. And then you're going to, be with those people who are on a higher level. I knew nothing about network marketing. All I knew was about sales and advertising. But you know what? I put my skills to work, my people skills to work for me. And I realized that during my transition that I could live on my own, that I could build a life for myself. So, that's my story. And then, there were some ups and downs during this journey. And so in 2015, my network marketing company collapsed. So I lost money. You know how it is. I mean, I don't know if anyone here who was listening today is in network marketing, but especially in a product-based company, your downline, they're not going to stay forever. They're going to move forward. They're going to move on. So I found myself, okay, so now I'm losing money. I have no backup plan. So I went back to work again for 3 years. So I built up my savings, and I started to, and then, I was out of like the online space for about 6 months to a year, because I had to just take a break from, the grind. But then something happened in 2019. So in 2019, while I was still working, I was traveling for work. I did outside sales for a publishing company. I sold advertising, and I was traveling to senior centers all the time, like every week, every week I was putting a lot of miles on my car. But at the same time, I found another mentor. And I said to myself, you know what, now I'm really going to, put my mind to this. And I believe I found the right mentor. And I also realized that there were certain things that were preventing me. I call those mental blocks. You know how it is that you feel like you have a mental block? And because I just kind of felt I was not in a bad place, but like I was going through some things. My mom had passed away in 2018. So there was some struggles there, But then when I found my mentor, I was so happy. I was like, wow. So I enrolled in this mentorship program, and I was doing a lot of mindset, personal development. And then I took his intensive class. So while I was still working full time, I was always plugged into his trainings. That's something that's very important that I want to share. That if you're going through something, always make time to plug into your mentor's trainings. If there's there was like an intensive class that I took, and he saw potential in me. See, mentors see things that we don't see, So lo and behold, after that, breakthroughs happened for me. And, I was starting to make more money again. I was starting to attract the right people into my online, into my online space, because you have to be careful who you hang out with. You need to be careful, who you associate yourself with. So his mentorship program really changed my life. And now, I have, which led to the podcast. Okay. So with the podcast, I had an awakening last year. So when the pandemic happened last year, I remember when everything shut down, like restaurants, everything shut down. So I came back home, and I made myself a cup of tea, and I looked out the window, and I was talking to myself, and I said, Angeline, you need to muscle up now. It's time. because, there's no jobs, no nothing. And, I was financially fine and everything, but I wanted to scale up my podcast. That is something that I really, really wanted to do. So lo and behold, I was putting myself out there. I was, one thing with podcasting is that I share my life, and I share, valuable content, inspiring content, because I want to motivate people, because I know that if I can make the change and I can transform my life, they can too. They have it within them. We see it, but they don't. Okay. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but and I think that's around the time when you and I connected last year. And I know you've been following my journey, and a lot of people follow my journey, and scaling up my podcast changed everything. I was interviewed on one of the I think two of the largest radio network companies in the US, and one is global. And I was attracting, more abundance and more wealth into my life. And I was able to leave my full-time job, which is huge. It's called firing your boss. So I was able to fire my boss and really, and that's it. That's it. I said, I'm not going to build someone else's dream. I'm going to build my own dream. So, so my podcast now is all over. It's on Anchor FM. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Google Podcasts now and Apple Podcasts. So my, I'm interviewing now coaches, and you and I you're going to be my guest next week. So I'm collaborating with coaches, and now I have a business coach. So what my plan is to launch my coaching program and courses, things that I've implemented into my life and sharing with the world, because I know women are going to because I have a special niche. I have a special gift, breaking the silence. We want to break the silence. We want to be able to take our life back. We want to be able to find our voice. And that's always been a huge, huge passion of mine, is helping women find their voice, because there's a lot of girls out there who are hurting, or they don't know what to do, especially young girls. I mean, this young girl I talked to yesterday, she works at this grocery store that I go to, to the market. And you can tell that she's looking for a leader. You can tell. So they're looking for a leader. They're looking for someone like myself that is going to take them to the promised land. Because I can probably attest that most people, want financial freedom. They want financial freedom. So, that's my journey, and I'm super excited because, I'm always evolving my brand. I'm always, so if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see, that I'm going to be making updates to my website too. So I'm working with my business coach now, and I'm making a nice, huge investment, but to me, it's worth it. Invest in yourself. That's another thing. Invest in yourself, because you're worthy. You deserve it.
I love all of that. Thank you so much, Angeline, for sharing that. That was just beautiful. There was a lot right there, so I'm going to pick up bits and pieces of what I remember now. First off, gypsy. So I called myself a gypsy for a long time. I was living like a gypsy for a long time as well, but I was traveling, so that makes a lot of sense as well. But that's amazing. It's beautiful to see someone who's gone through so much and come out on the other end that is much stronger, much more powerful, and someone that's ready to kick ass right now and fully invest in themselves, invest in their business, invest in their growth, and screw all the other people. We don't need anyone else. We don't need a man. We don't need a husband. We don't need that. I matter. And if you realize that you're the one that matters, then your life will be completely shifted upside down into this beautiful, the life that you've always wanted to create, which is so beautiful. And you've done that. So thank you so much for sharing that. I did want to chat back a little bit about your relationship that you've had before, because you were saying that there was domestic violence, like he wasn't allowing you to have the financial income, you were
Mhm.
working with him, a lot of stuff was going on in that relationship. What would you say to women, because I'm sure there's tons of women out there right now, and and pretty much my audience is all women, what if they're trying to get out of anything, a
Mm.
relationship, a job, house lease that they don't want anymore, whatever, just trying to get out of something in order to improve their lives and make their lives a little bit better? How would you go about telling them to raise that power within themselves in order for them to have that powerful mindset, to put that extra step in order for them to be like, you know what, I can do this. I don't need anyone else. I can do this. I can do this on my own. You've done it. What do you tell other women now?
Okay, what I tell other women is this: work on yourself. You know, I like when in the morning, when I first wake up, I do a gratitude meditation and I pray. So I turned to God. So when this was happening to me, I turned to God for guidance. And then I got myself a therapist. I mean, I did need, but she made me realize that I could live on my own. She saw the potential in me. So I just worked on myself. And whatever he did, it didn't matter. I stopped worrying about what he was going to do because I was told, stop worrying about what he's going to do and just focus on yourself. I didn't realize now, you know, focus on yourself. You have special gifts, especially young women out there. You know, I can imagine what it's like now, you know, in the world that we live in today.
Oh yeah. In the
Yeah, I mean,
online
I was
world that we
married for
live in. Oh
23
my
years.
goodness.
Yeah, I was married for 23 years and we didn't have like the Facebook and the Twitter and all this stuff, you know, not until I learned about Facebook actually through a therapist. A friend of mine had told me about Facebook. So I got onto Facebook so I could start networking, you know, so I could just start making new friends. So, you know, as long as they were the right people, but I started to connect with like-minded people. And that really raised my vibration up. That's important, you know, because I didn't have an outlet for myself at the time because I felt trapped. So I found outlets. I started going to, you know, I started to get involved in a couple of work, you know, like volunteer stuff, not, you know, nothing paid, but like, you know, volunteering. So get yourself out there. You have to like get out of your head into your heart and just say, okay, if Angeline can pull this off, then I can do it too. And so work on your mindset, you know, listen to listen to, like I listened to Louise Hay. She's very good. Spiritual. I did a lot of spiritual healing. I went to workshops too. In fact, when I came up here, I had gone to a workshop, to a women's empowerment event, and I met really great people. And then the next thing you know, I moved up here. So it was like I made a 1-year plan. So I made a 1-year plan and I set goals for myself. Okay. That I was going to move up here in 1 year. I set a goal. The second goal was to, you know, obviously end the marriage. And, you know, the divorce took 1 year because the other side was fighting, but that's just the way it is. We didn't have any children, so that was a plus. So I was able to break free and I was able to put the past behind me immediately. Because when I left, I remember when I left and I was moving, and at that time I lived 2 hours north of New York City. I never looked back. So there may, you know, like you can work through. I mean, I've had to work through a lot, but when I made up my mind that I was going to move and live by myself, and I'm still single for 11 years, and I'm still standing. And now I have my podcast, and you know, now I'm helping people. I'm working with the business coach to launch, you know, a a new coaching program. I'm going to be launching courses, and I'm really, really super excited about that because I know that's going to change a woman's life. I know it. I know it. I know it. You know, so level up. That's what I say. Just, just make up your mind that you're, you know, don't sit in that victim mode. Don't,
Yeah, that's very
yeah, don't
important.
stay there. Don't stay in victim mode. Don't feel sorry for yourself and don't play the victim. They're not, because people won't buy into that. See?
That's for sure. That's so empowering, and that's so beautiful to take a step back and look at it like you are the one that matters. At the end of the day, it's you. No one else matters. Your mom, your sister, your
Right.
fiance, your boyfriend, whoever, your next door neighbor, no one else matters. It's you. And you have that power within yourself in order to raise your own vibration and to become what it is that you want. It takes work. It's not going to be
Sure it
easy.
does.
But sure it does. Yeah. But you do have to make that commitment to yourself because you're the one that matters. That's awesome. I want to chat a little bit because you've talked about in the beginning of how the right people coming into your life, the right mentors, the right people, and just things started lining up. Can you chat about a little bit about how to call in those right people? Because we talk about manifesting a lot here. So, and I've manifested the beautiful people that are in my life. But if someone is looking to get out of this rut that they're having, whatever rut it is, and they're looking for those right people to come into place, the right mentors, the right friends, the right whoever, the right soul tribe, as I like to call it,
Right.
calling
Right.
those people in, that it's everything is soul aligned, like your friendships will be aligned, the right mentors will come along, and the right businesses will come along. How do you go about manifesting people?
That's a good question. Yeah, this is one thing I learned from my mentor. This was when I joined in his mentorship program. You have to manifest things. When you manifest good things into your reality, it happens. When you put out good to the universe, it's called the law of attraction. Anything that you put out there that is good to the universe, it's going to come back in a good way. If you put out negative, negative will come back. So it's important to get out of that scarcity mindset. And that takes work. It's training. It's a lot of mindset. Like I said, 90% of this is mindset. I was able to manifest moving into a brand new apartment building here in 2018. And last year, I transferred into a 2-bedroom apartment, which I really love, and I was able to attract more wealth and abundance. So, I have some, investments in crypto. I have some investments in real estate that is generating income for me. So I was able to manifest that. What I do is I keep a journal. So let me just show you my journal. So I keep this journal and I write down at least 20 things that I am grateful for. And I used to have a blog about writing gratitude, just keeping a gratitude journal. See, this is my journal.
I love it. We talk about gratitude a lot, and I always say you should either start or end your day with at least 3 things that you're grateful for, because gratitude is such a high vibration, such a high frequency, like just underneath love. Love is a little bit higher than gratitude, but it's so, and like people don't realize that gratitude is so simple. We tend to overcomplicate things as humans, but it's not that big of a deal. Like everyone has something to be grateful for, no matter what it is. And I always add as well as not only what you're grateful for. Oh, I love that.
And I write it first thing in the morning while I'm listening to gratitude affirmations. So on YouTube, YouTube is the Bible. So make sure that you put YouTube to good use, because that's what I do. And there's a lot of great things on gratitude affirmations, meditations. I sit on my couch in the morning with my water, because I drink a lot of water in the morning. I just pray. And then that gets you in the zone. It gets me in the zone. And then I listen to gratitude affirmations and I start journaling. Journaling is important. Journaling is very important. So gratitude opens up the gateway for abundance. It opens up the gateway for abundance.
It really does. Yeah.
And I used to have a blog about writing. Oh, you want me to write like 5 things I'm grateful for? 10? Oh, okay. Guess what?
Yeah, it's so simple and so impactful too. So simple. We all have so many things to be grateful for. And I talk about gratitude on this podcast all the time. So I definitely resonate with that. It's so beautiful. What are 3 things you're grateful for right now?
Well, I am grateful for being your guest on your podcast today. I am always, so the first thing I write is I'm grateful for waking up from my warm, comfortable bed, because it's cold, still cold here in upstate New York. I'm grateful that I can wake up early from a warm, comfortable bed. You know, it's all the little things. Grateful to have a roof over my head. And after, I drink like a glass of water, and then I have my I love my coffee in the morning. That's something, it's like a ritual. So I have, I'm grateful for having this ritual on my couch in my nice living room with the fire going, because it's chilly in the morning.
So
I need to warm up. I'm in my robe, and I'm like, sometimes I don't want to get up, but
that's okay. We all have our good days and our bad days.
Right. Grateful for the sunrise, grateful for a healthy body. Love yourself. Love yourself.
Yeah.
Because when you love yourself, you love others. That's another thing. Love yourselves, ladies. Love yourselves.
Oh, I love that.
Because I know we're in different times today, because, I was married for 23 years and my divorce happened in May of 2011. So things have changed, I enjoy being independent, and who knew that this was going to happen? But it's life has its twists and turns, so you have to learn how to pivot, and you have to, like women have, especially, and men too, but like women, they have to learn how to pivot. They have to learn to accept change. That if this marriage is not going to work out, it's time to move on. Because you know what? I realized that I was in a toxic relationship. No good for you. No good for you. Nope.
So what were some of like the defining facts for you that you're like, crap, this really is toxic for me. It's not good for me. I need to get out. What was that like moment for you? And how would you help other women if they are going through that right now? What advice would you give to them to help get out?
I would say first seek counsel. And what I did was I got a protective order. But what I did was, when I knew that the relationship was at the end, I met my ex-spouse in a public place, in a coffee shop, and I told him what I was planning to do. Never tell your spouse or significant other in the house that what you're going to do. You want to go to a public place. Go to a public place like a coffee shop, because there's people around. If something happens, like let's say he or she, let's say he freaks out or something, you have witnesses. I mean, you have people. There's good people out there. Good people will help you, So just make sure, like I had a protective order for 1 year. So the New York State troopers and the sheriff's office knew exactly where I was going, because I told them this is where I'm going to be. Because I was, like I said, I was living like a gypsy. Plus I was going for therapy at the same time. So I would suggest, get yourself a good therapist because my therapist helped me work through, my self-esteem was knocked down to the ground. I was literally, forget it, but she was able to work with me. And then I worked on myself, start reading some good self-development books. And I'm more of like an audio person. So I love to listen to audiobooks. But get yourself in the zone, like get yourself in a high vibrational state. Start practicing gratitude, and surround yourselves with people or leaders who are going to be at a higher level than you. People who are going to uplift you and take you to the next level, which is what I did. And that took work. It's not, sitting at home is not the answer. You have to get yourself out there.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you've been able to come full circle. And now you're this booming superwoman, as you like to call it.
Right.
Who's empowered, who's helping empower other women, and who has stepped into your own confidence to become this beautiful person, this beautiful being as you are. Thank you so much, Angeline. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they find your podcast? Let us know.
Okay, so people can find me on Facebook at Angeline Constantinou. I also have, they can find me on my website at www.letsbreakthesilence.com. And that will take them to my podcast, and that will take them on my YouTube channel. I'm also on Twitter, which I don't really use that much. I use Instagram, so Harley Thriver Chick is my Instagram handle. I know that you love it. And my podcast is on Anchor FM. Let's Break the Silence. And it's also on Google Podcasts. You can also find me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Wonderful, Angeline. Thank you so much. And before we hop off, can you please give us 3 tips for someone looking to step into their confidence and become this beautiful badass, which you've already empowered and you've already became? What 3 tips do you have for the audience today that they could start doing at their own leisure, at their own time, when they're ready to step into that confidence?
Okay, so when they're ready to step into their confidence, if you have a coach, look for a woman coach, especially a woman. A woman should be working with a woman coach. Because I think women are more understanding, but you have to save yourself. Okay. I saved myself. No one saved me. I was just given the tools. So make sure that you have the right mentor, the right, person who's going to work with you, and make sure that they give you the tools, because there's a lot of, mindset and manifestations that you can do and learn from. And that's going to take you to another level. It's going to take you to a whole new level. So make sure that you're, because I see potential in a lot of women. They may not see it in themselves, but, and get out of that victim mentality and love yourself. Love yourself first. Who cares? You love yourself.
You come first.
You come first. Practice gratitude. Do what I do. I'm still journaling.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because gratitude opens up the gateway for abundance. So make sure
it really does. Thank you so much, Angeline. I think everyone's going to walk away with so many great tips, so many golden nuggets, and they're really going to be able to be like, hey, if Angeline did it, I can do it. And I come first. I think everyone's going to walk away with so many great golden nuggets from this episode. So thank you again so much for being on. It was such a pleasure to chat with you.
Pleasure to chat with you too. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
For more tips and tricks on business and spirituality, join us inside the Spirituality for Badass Babes Facebook group.